Hi, I'm Curt Drew, and today we are at a house in Scranton, Iowa, where we're going to be installing a ERV. That's an energy recovery ventilator. So you'll see as we walk through this home, we're going to show you how we're installing the ERV in this house. We're also going to be installing a Breathe Easy air cleaner into the furnace, which is our solution for filtering allergens, particulates, as well as filtering radon decay products. This is the drawing from Radon Shield of this house, and you can see there's 3 crawl spaces. You can also see where the ERV is located and the ERV flex duct runs, and 2 sump pits that need to be sealed. We're doing a walk through the basement of this house. You can see it's an exercise room, kind of a rec room in the basement. And we're going to poke our heads through this access here, and this is one of the larger crawl spaces of the house. You can see it's got a concrete floor. That in a traditional depressurization system, we'd want to do a extraction point into that crawl space. We'd also want to put an extraction point here into the basement slab, and then we'd want to put an extraction point over here in this crawl space. This is crawl space number 2. And obviously we're doing an ERV in this situation instead of a depressurization system, so we can avoid all those PVC pipe runs. Here's the sump pit that'll need to be sealed, and we'll go ahead and seal that with this install. And this is the location where we're going to put the Breathe Easy air cleaner, the 1-inch space. Here's the supply runs from the furnace that go out throughout the house, and as you can see, there's an access there. And on the other side is where we're going to mount the ERV. And then we're going to walk back here and show you the 3rd crawl space that also has a concrete floor. This is the location where we're going to mount the ERV. You can see there's access there to run our flex duct over here into the furnace, so it's really a great location. There is your return, and you'll see how we're going to connect to that return to put our supply air into the furnace and throughout the house. And this is a return where we're going to connect our flex duct to pull the room air into the ERV. This home we're going to be installing the EV200 unit, which is a 200 CFM energy recovery ventilator. As you can see, we've created our rim joist holes here for our fresh air intake, and then over 10 feet away we need to make another access point for our exhaust air. And so you can see we're around the corner here, and this is where we're going to be exhausting the stale air from the house. We're going to go ahead and use our bit to create a round hole, and this is how we're going to connect to the returns to draw room air into the ERV. And this is a really great tool used to make a nice round hole to connect your flex duct to those returns. We've installed a T on the return here. This is where our fresh air is going to be coming into the house. And that duct is going to run up here and then through that cavity and then back into our ERV. First step is to go ahead and mount our bar on the bottom of the mounting location for the ERV, and we'll hang the ERV in that location. We've gone ahead and ran our ducts to the fresh air and to the exhaust locations through this crawl space. We'll hang those later. And then now we've mounted our ERV. As you can see, we have the bar on the bottom, which the ERV mounts to, and then we have 4 screws to the top, and that's all you have to do to mount the unit. And then there's 4 access points in the ERV. One is the outside air intake. That's where we're going to be bringing the fresh air from outside. And then the room air exhaust. That's where we're pulling from the returns and supplying air through the unit. On the other side, the air is flowing out of the ERV, and one of those is flowing exhaust air to the outside. So that's where we're exhausting it outdoors. And now we've got the fresh air that's coming indoors that's going to follow that duct into the furnace and also teeing and exhausting some of that fresh air down into the basement. So here's a look at the finished product of the vent covers for the outside. There's your fresh air intake. As you can see, you know, aesthetically with an ERV, you really don't see anything on the outside of the house other than these vent covers. So it could be a great option for somebody that wants to avoid a depressurization system on the outside of their house. So the ERV's now mounted with our 90s, and we're starting to connect the ductwork to the unit. On every ERV, we need to have a controller that controls when the unit is going to run. This is a PTL controller, and it's a push button control that you can change the percentage of the runtime. Now, typically for a radon application, we want it to run 100% of the time, but you have the option of adjusting that. Let's say you have a depressurization system in combination with an ERV, you might want to adjust the runtime so it doesn't run all the time, since you may not need it to run all the time, and that would be more efficient for the house. So now the ERV is installed. We've got our duct runs hanging and out of the way in this crawl space. Those duct runs then run into the ERV unit. And then through that cavity and then into the furnace with the fresh air supply. And it's right before the filter. And then the return air from the returns, or room air, that goes into the ERV that crosses. So the system is now installed, and with that T we can adjust the amount of fresh air we want to have dumped in the basement, so we can pressurize the basement. So here we got about 25% fresh air into the basement, and the remaining of that fresh air is going to go into the furnace and then circulate throughout the house.